Welcome to my channel. This is Karen from Vintage Elegance Inspiration. I am sharing my summer journal collection, and this is the 6th journal and 6th video that I am recording today. So I'm at the finish line here, but I'm so happy to share this beautiful journal with you. I love the cover. I love the name. It's just been such a beautiful series to work with, and gorgeous digitals and supplies. I'm very, very fortunate. This one is called Briar Rose. She has a beautiful little removable wrap skirt, some gorgeous dangles, some beautiful vintage buttons on the spine, some gorgeous vintage pearl trim. I'm just going to show it to you how I bought it. On this spool, this beautiful wooden spool. Isn't that just gorgeous? And that's almost like rose gold thread that's been used for it. It's just incredibly beautiful. Oh, and I just found a button at the bottom. Ha! Anyhow, that's so cool. I'm going to remove the skirt. This is not vintage. You can tell there's a difference in the color, but I just love the contrast of the white with the pearl, and I decided to include it rather than use a piece of vintage jewelry or such. The topper is a set of ephemera pieces that I've put together. Each of the journals has one of these included. These, of course, are some beautiful wild roses. Absolutely beautiful. Some pink fiber trim, the lovely little buttons, and then this little stack contains a booklet, beautiful journaling card that I have made, and a lace card. This is beautiful Allen lace that is blush colored that I got from Suzi. And this is beautiful color dyed applique by Nikki from Ravioli Dreams. Some beautiful graphic 45 paper backed onto parchment paper. So those are included with each journal. And then the wrap skirt is completely removable. And look at this beautiful fabric. Isn't that stunning? This is some of the brocade tapestry fabric that I was able to get, and each recipient at our retreat in Vermont created their own journal cover using fabric similar to this. I pre-serged, cut and pre-serged all the edges, and then they adhered it onto Craftex base. Just so beautiful. It's almost got like not really a silk thread in it, but it's just delightful. I love it. Gorgeous vintage buttons from my friend Suzi Oberman at MaryNotMartha. You can order those on her website. And the beautiful bead dangles that I love to make. More cocoa type colors, as is the wrap skirt. The sari silk that I've used is like a cocoa color. So we've got a vintage lace support band, and then I stitched the sari silk onto the sides. This lace at the bottom is not vintage. This particular one is from April Cornell that I got in the Vermont flagship and headquarters store. And then just the pearl trim. So that you can leave on and keep her dressed up, or you can take it off and do some serious journaling with. She is 8.5 by 5.5, standard journal size, got 21 pages, therefore 84 page sides. And opened up, this is what her inside covers look like. Got a beautiful vintage lace pocket. And that is lace that I have got wrapped around one of my spindles, a great big giant one. Artisan paper for the inside, love it. And this is the description tag that I have made using this beautiful rose digital from Odulcina. It's her garden herbal collection that she just released. Briar Rose is sweet, light pink blooms once in spring or summer, may have an occasional repeat flowering. And the story behind this is Grimm's Sleeping Beauty was named Briar Rose. Disney used both names, Aurora and Sleeping Beauty, although the three fairies refer to her as Briar Rose in order to conceal her identity. So that's the story behind the name Briar Rose, but Briar Rose is actually a rose brand or breed or species. Tall skinny tag that I've made backed onto parchment paper with vintage wallpaper that I love to use, vintage book page, vintage music page, a wildflower die cut, and some stamping with the chiffon ribbon topper. Just slides into here together with our little description card. Gorgeous digitals, absolutely beautiful. Now these are not the Rosie digitals. They are, is it Patience? This one is Patience, it's called. Love it. Gorgeous blush colored scalloped edge lace trim. Sweet little vintage girl collage tag that I've made, backing it onto Tim Holtz cardstock. Everything is stitched with very light pink threads in my machine. A tea-dyed Battenberg lace coaster, I believe this you would call, that I've made into a pocket. One of the tags that I've created so many of, very similar. The texture paste stenciling, some collaging, the vintage lace topper with a vintage red button, and some metallic embroidery floss. Bible page, some Shakespeare Julius Caesar with a beautiful fussy cut flower from one of the kits. Beautiful vintage lace with flowers in it. And a page edge. This is a tall tag that I've made, adding it to this slotted tag die cut, Odulcina fussy cut flower, and a little note that I've folded in half, tucked in there on that side, collaged with some antique florals by ChapterOnePapers. And on this side I've got a pocket that I have collaged with some of my stamping and a beautiful vintage girl ticket, some French poetry book, and lined journaling paper for extra writing. On this side I've got a oval frame. It's embossed and cut at the same time. You can tuck anything that you would like to inside there, of course. And if you'd rather have a, photo or something, that's what you can do there. This is also embossed pink parchment paper. This is vintage sheet music with a beautiful washi rose sticker. One of the envelopes that I have made for this collection. I've just tucked some coordinating paper inside for note taking. A beautiful blush colored applique there on both sides, and what I've done is take a hanky, cut it in 4, and instead of just using it as a page corner, I just find that when you do that and you fold this here, it just is so floppy. And so I started doing envelope flaps instead, and I absolutely love it. So the scalloped edge hangs over the flap, and then you just stitch it, and I've used pink thread, of course, and then it just tucks in neatly inside the envelope flap. Gorgeous blush colored applique. Those are from Suzi. And some stamping on the back of that one. Stamping all over. blush colored vintage lace on this page, more stamping, some poetry by Emily Dickinson, and a beautiful fussy cut rose flower there, some lined journal paper, gorgeous watercolor image from my England's Garden flower book, some avocado paper that I've dyed myself. I love it. Sometimes I've tea dyed first and then avocado dyed it, but this paper is really good. It's Hammermill 32 pound, and it just is so absorbent, and it's a better quality, definitely. I use it just in my printer, which I got a new laser printer, even better than the last one I had. It's amazing. I was able to print these out with my new printer last night, and I just love them. Gorgeous. When I do a big project like this, quite often I will get it printed commercially because of the volume, but I had already had all of these papers printed, and most of them tea dyed back in March. So that's what I do. That's an aside story, but that's what I do when I'm doing a big production or a large quantity. It's just takes up too much of my personal printer ink, and then I get them laser copied, of course, and then you can tea dye after that. And I just love the finish. I get asked quite often by viewers what I use, and that's the method that I use. This is a little tuck spot. Isn't that beautiful? That rose is from the Stamperia paper collection. Sweet little pocket with embossed belly band there and some beautiful pink lace. And then I've got one of these swatch cards that I have made using Sheila's gorgeous embroidered trims. Look at that gorgeous red, deep, beautiful color with the cocoa. How perfect is that? Some lace vintage lace that I have avocado dyed, and then beautiful artisan paper and a topper. And you can write on the back, of course. I think red and pink goes beautifully together. That's been my little comment that I've made probably on each of these videos. Blush colored lace on the side, some stamping, book page from Les Miserables, French English dictionary page, a beautiful washi sticker. If you can see those close up, isn't that amazing? It's just so translucent. I really, really love them. A deconstructed earring set that I made into dangles, and a beautiful blush colored lace pocket. One of the postcards from Niagara Falls that I was able to get. This one is dated 1956. It's typed 1856, but I'm sure it's 1956. I'm not reading it. You can hardly read it. And this envelope is dated 1940. So those are authentic vintage pieces included in each journal. This little image I'm going to adhere on this side of the page. Beautiful vintage lace that I had out of my collection. Some stamping. Some Edith Holden book page of the month of June. My granddaughter's middle name. We call her Little Junebug. And the beautiful dangles. I love putting together beads and charms and all these pretty pieces of jewelry. I just think it's so beautiful. A journaling card that I have made, or a tag, that features one of the images from Odulcina's little vintage girl photos kit. Some French vintage book page, antique green delicate trim, some cheesecloth, and a beautiful bow that I've made from some crinkled seam binding, and these buttons, these gorgeous buttons in this gorgeous rainbow effect. And those are backed onto some tea-dyed index cards that I do. This is the page that I've added in each journal, which they are all different. The idea and inspiration comes from Marlene from Uniquely Ella, who came up with this design, I believe. You can tuck something from the bottom, you can add from the top, and then the center, and then the very top you can add a tall tag, because I did not adhere these to the pages, so that is open. And what I do is I make these up ahead of time and then just stitch around them. And I just took the chance that the colors were going to go in each journal somehow, and they did, and I'm just so very pleased, because I don't know ahead of time which page I'm going to attach it to. And if it doesn't happen to go with any page, then it becomes a back cover edition. Some sweet little vintage girl journaling cards. I've got the word vintage collage there with a sweet little rose circle. A washi sticker, some dictionary page, some Les Miserables book page, beautiful blush colored pink lace on this side, and then look at this applique. This is one of Suzi's creations where she's blush dyed it, and it almost looks like tea dye on the tips. Just so very beautiful. You can use that as a tuck spot, but I like to just feature the appliques by themselves when they dangle over their cascade over the page side like that. Some of my avocado dyed paper and the watercolor garden book page, line journaling page, beautiful washi sticker on this side of the poetry, and another journaling card made with some antique lace on this side, and some sweet little vintage shank buttons that I love to do on these crinkled seam binding toppers. Vintage eyelet cotton lace on this side, and I've inserted the crinkled seam binding into that for some added color and texture. This is a belly band tuck spot, and I've got some a journaling card and a tag included in this pocket. Some of Sheila's beautiful embroidered trim as well. This is a die cut. You know what? I think this I'm gonna put here. I don't know if I have one in here already, but it fell off one of the books. I'll just put that in there for now. Another washi sticker on this music page. Some embossed parchment paper. A sweet little collaged pocket with this Edith Holden book page of the bird in the garden. And I've done some heavy distressing on the edges and backed it onto parchment paper. Some stamping. Lots of journal space, writing space. Some blush colored vintage lace trim. Some more washi sticker. Isn't that beautiful? Bible page and a lace pocket or tuck spot here that I have added a tag to, and another Edith Holden book page journaling card backed onto parchment paper with some Swiss dot netting for tulle tag topper. And coming up to the last page in the journal, just so very delicate, this beautiful digital kit called Patience by Raindrop Lila. Her name is Lydia. Beautiful blush colored lace edged page. And I love this image, it's so very sweet. And a tall journal tag here. Used vintage wallpaper, vintage book page. This is on needlework. Vintage music paper, some stamping, a wildflower backed onto parchment paper, and into the back, inside of the back cover. So that is Briar Rose, and she is the last video of my journals today. I do have another journal in this series that is using similar papers. I think it's from Patience as well, or else Charlotte, I can't remember. But it's by Raindrop Lila as well. And I've actually done a video of that one already. So that one is available. It is a tall, skinny journal. I hope you've enjoyed this series. It was so much fun to make. It's a lot of work. It's a huge undertaking to do a mass production of 6 or 7 journals at once. It takes me about a month, but I do enjoy it. I enjoy it because then I can just bury myself in it and work away, chip away at it. And that concludes my rose themed summer journal collection. Thank you so much for watching and for staying with me, and for your lovely comments, for your encouragement, for your support. It means very much to me, and it's very rewarding. Have a great rest of the day, and see you next time. Bye for now.